I'm so excited to be here with the founders of BodyFlow Hydration. They are our partners with this jumpstart. This 10-day jumpstart really was the brainchild of Megan, and she brought it to me, and I thought, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it. And the reason I felt like it would be such a great idea for people who are getting off sugar is because drinking water that first week was so important to me. One, it gave me the habit of drinking something, and I was a real soda junkie. So just having something coming through a straw was almost like, you know how like they have like smokers have that habit of bringing like a hand to their mouth? It was kind of the same thing. I needed a straw to my mouth, and water was really helpful with that. But I mean, I was drinking so much water and going to the bathroom so often. I knew I wasn't getting the water like sticking into my body. And that's kind of an old story in my life is just like when I want to drink more water, I just spend more time in the bathroom. But when Megan was telling me about this revolutionary product that she had created that didn't have any sugar in it, didn't have any artificial flavoring in it, I was sold. And especially after hearing Vincent's story, which we're going to get to, I was sold. And so since then, we've just been working together and they have been kind enough to allow me to try this product for a few months, and I have loved it, especially now going into this pregnancy. It has just been a lifesaver to be able to know that I am hydrated. I am not going to the bathroom so frequently, even though I am getting the amount of water I need. So I just love Body Flow. I'm so grateful that they decided to partner with us. And those of you who have the VIP and are drinking your Body Flow, I hope this is going to solidify why you are drinking it. And then those of you who don't have it yet, you got to try it. So awesome. I've got Vincent and Megan with me. You guys are a married couple and you have brought this Body Flow baby to life. And I want to go back to the beginning. So all started with you, Vincent, right? You were an athlete and had some issues with injuries. Can you just kind of tell us about the beginnings of all of this?
Yeah, I was a javelin thrower in college and sort of beat my body up a bit, have a few fractured vertebrae and ruptured disc. I ended up, I was taking pain meds and then Ambien, and then the doc was like, maybe we need some blood pressure medication and cholesterol. So just definitely going down the wrong direction. And I found a naturopath who was he was an MD for 28 years before. So the first time I went to see him, he had me bring in my blood work and urinalysis. And he was like, "You're completely dehydrated." Well, I'd been drinking a gallon of water a day,
That's
for
crazy.
ever. Yeah. And he was like, he kind of explained to me how hydration works, which it has nothing to do with your water intake. It's your electrolyte balance. So this was actually a product that he had made that he taught me how to make. And he had me try it in a small glass. And at first it tasted like the ocean. It was awful. It was really difficult because I was super dehydrated. Um, After about 14 days, when I redid my urinalysis, hydration was perfect. So I went from a gallon a day to 32 ounces with this product, and it
Wow.
balanced my electrolytes. Yeah, made a big difference with the pain that I was going through, and I mean that guy really changed the path of my life, honestly. And
Do you
and this
remember how quickly the pain went away when you were drinking this?
It's tough to say, honestly. I mean, it helps obviously to be hydrated because then all of the pads, all of the
Mm.
discs are more full and plump and do a better job.
Mm.
But also, I was doing yoga and lost a few pounds, so it was just a general
Combined
health.
effort.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that first doctor was just putting a blanket over what he saw as the issues. What made you reach out to a naturopath? What was your inspiration there?
Well, it just felt like I was going the wrong direction so this naturopath, this was his formula.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who taught me about hydration. Before that, I was seeing a few different types of doctors uh,
Mm-hmm.
and just wasn't going in the right direction. So this was more of like a life path adjustment for me. And this was one of the first things we had that we switched up.
That's so cool. Were you a skeptic prior to that of like more natural medicine?
Totally.
Megan's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely was. It sounds like voodoo until you learn about how it actually works in your body.
Yeah. Can you tell us like after so were you with Megan at this point or was this prior?
Way prior.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is about 9 years before we met.
Okay, okay. So you got this like magical elixir of minerals and you started to feel really good. Did you continue with them for a long time or was it something that like it got me better and then I kind of moved on?
I haven't been off of it since then. So it's interesting. You call it a magical elixir, which I totally appreciate, but it's very, very simple science. When if you remember the sodium potassium pump from biology, um,
Which I did not.
yeah.
He educated me on
Obvious.
yeah, obviously,
The only way water is used by the body, the way it gets into your cells, is there. It's called the sodium potassium pump. So, 50% of the work that your brain does, like half the calories your brain burns, is going to facilitating this sodium potassium pump. And
Holy
what it
cow.
is it's just an exchange of three sodium, two potassium, magnesium fuels ATP. So it's basically magnesium's the fuel, and then those are exchanged, and that's why he had it formulated this way, and we stay true to that. It's the exact same ratio. um, so I think you asked me if I'd ever been off it, but no, I've been on it since then. It kind
Wow.
of it changes the feel of the water, and at first it's off-putting, but we found like the magic numbers like 10 to 14 days,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then something clicks in your body like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be, and it works. And then when you drink water without body flow, it feels a little more harsh. You get the chlorine and
Yes, I was going to mention that with my experience with drinking Body Flow is that yeah, when I notice a difference between just water and water with Body Flow, it seems a lot softer. Like
yeah,
if you're taking a hard water shower versus a soft water shower, it's a lot more soft.
exactly.
So can you tell like do you know why is there any conspiracy or why does our water not have these minerals already? Why are we missing out on these?
Yeah, so I mean, since humans became humans, we got our water from natural sources, from springs, from rivers, from wells. Um, that all has this in it. Like if you have a well on your property, you probably don't need body flow because
Yeah.
it has a mineral content in it. So you're absorbing it and you're getting everything you need.
Mhm.
But the problem is most of us do not. So in the 1940s, when water treatment plants became a municipality, so they take the bad stuff out, but they take the minerals out as well. So this is basically just putting it back to spring water, in the same form.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I've thought about this since taking Body Flow that our fitness experts will tell us to drink a gallon of water a day or like make sure we're hydrated. But I'm like, this just isn't can't be right. Because like the guys who were like the mountaineers weren't carrying around like a gallon of water and they were doing great. And like our like Native Americans, like they weren't just carrying their pots around like drinking and drinking and drinking. And
Big
I'm
tum-
like, some you sorry, what?
They're big tumblers.
Yeah,
They're
they're Stanley mugs. Yeah. And I'm like, how did like this just doesn't seem right that we're supposed to be drinking this much water. So this has just been kind of revolutionary to me is like, of course, like we're just getting back to our roots. This is what our body has had. We just have to kind of add it back in to make sure that we're getting the right stuff.
totally.
So once you two married and Megan, what did you think about his a magical elixir? Were
I was
you
very
skeptical about it?
yes, I was very resistant. I think I started taking it out of defiance. Like I was like, okay, I'll take this every single day, but it won't work. And it did. So I started taking body flow.
That's not really true. I tried to get her to take it before, and she just didn't like it.
Yeah, it
Honestly,
tasted salty like
she's like
ocean
she
water
wasn't gonna stick with it. But then
postpartum.
yeah,
Yeah, I think there's a switch. Like it was ocean water. I didn't want to take this formulation.
Yeah.
And
It didn't
then when I
taste like
was
Kool-Aid.
yes, and I wanted my Kool-Aid. And when I was in postpartum, my milk supply dropped due to dehydration. And I think that was the switch,
Yeah.
like when you become a mom and you're trying to provide, you're like, okay, I'll drink the ocean
I'll
water.
do anything.
But I was still very resistant to it until I saw my supply go up. And then I was like, okay, this is something,
It
like people
works.
need access to this.
Yeah, and we started, it was a similar reason. It's almost like medicine, like I was
Mhm.
at a point where I was in pain
Yeah.
and I wanted to change. I
Mhm.
wanted to do better. And like my naturopath explained it to me, like, this is what you need. This is your medicine. And then it only takes a couple of weeks. Same with
Mhm.
Megan. Like, she didn't mind the taste when it helped your breast
Mhm.
milk come up.
Mhm.
And not that it tastes bad. Like, I really love the taste of it now, but I do remember my first experience with it was sort of harsh, same as Megan. And what made
Yeah.
her stick with it was when she realized it works,
Yeah.
with breast milk.
Yeah.
Not to speak for him.
No,
Yeah.
it's true. No, and I was so surprised because when you tried it for the first time, you didn't describe it as intensely as I had.
Hmm.
And you had been sugar free for I don't know how long, like three
Yeah.
months or something like that. So I think like your palate was also much different than my palate was when I first started taking it. So
Yeah.
I think that was interesting. Like people in the sugar free community uh, have tried it and um, they just haven't experienced the ocean
They're
water.
not as off put by the taste.
Yeah, so that's been a really interesting finding joining this community.
That is really interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
I also, when I quit drinking soda, I was like, my husband always has, if I have water like sitting on the counter, has to ask, does this have something in it? Because I
Yeah.
was putting like apple cider vinegar, lemon.
Yes.
I was using just salt like in my water afterwards, and it was going really well, but this is way like getting me more stuff that I need. So he's always like really like, what's going on over like in that water? And now he's still the same with the body flow. Does this have body flow in it? I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay, I'll get something else. I haven't convinced my husband. My
Yeah.
husband is much more skeptical. Oh, I lost an earring. I thought that might happen. He's much more skeptical about a lot of things but he's very happy I'm off sugar. So he's like, whatever it takes, like take your body flow, like whatever you want. If we're not eating like 12 brownies a week, it's good. So awesome. So that journey with you and your breast milk was probably extremely stressful. I haven't had the same, but obviously breastfeeding is just life altering pretty much. So, how long did it take your supply to grow?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. I have such a poor memory when I think that far back. I'm like, Vincent, do you remember when I was pregnant? Like, I just don't like remember it. But it was a few days. Like, I needed hydration. That is what was missing. Because I was eating well. I was like trying to be so aware of what I was putting in my body. And then when I started adding these electrolytes to my water, my supply started coming back. And then you see a little movement and then my stress level started to decrease some,
Yeah.
and stress is definitely like a factor as well.
Yeah.
But I was just so excited to start having a stash again in the freezer, because I
Yeah.
was like, working at that time out of the house. So it was pretty quick. The salty taste probably still took like a week to dissipate, but I was starting to see a change in my milk production
Hmm.
a couple days because I was dehydrated. And that was, I was kind of in the, I don't know, like sounding chamber, like looking for on Instagram, looking for like, how do I fix this and what's going on?
Yeah.
And it was hydration. And I just didn't quite believe that at
You
first.
had the answer all along.
On the counter staring at me. And I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Vincent's like pushing it ever closer.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it would work either. She tried a few of the galactagogues, and
Mhm.
like, I have no problem with herbal medicine, but it's not it's a a one size fits none situation. Like those have to be kind of specified to what's going on. So she got no result from
Yeah.
those, so with this, it just when it worked so well. So we went to a few other people, connected with some lactation consultants and did some trials, and they had the same results. And that's kind
So
of what
cool.
makes turned it into a product,
So cool. So yeah, so now you're saying this works. We need to get this out to people. What do your next steps look like making this into a product that people can have in their homes? Like, what did that look like? What happened?
The journey, yeah.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that part out, honestly. um we've picked up some good, like we do races every couple of weeks. The New Orleans Race Club, we're the official hydration partner, and the way we did that was a few like high school coaches who were very ambitious found us somehow online and reached out and like, hey, we're looking for a product like this. Like they understood the value of being liquid versus powder. It's in a different form, it's a different charge, it absorbs much quicker,
Yeah.
so we're like, okay, yeah, we'll do that as well. And then we've lately we've gotten more attention from community that are on psychotropic medications, which are a lot of people,
Oh,
ADHD, antidepressants, those really dehydrate you. Dry mouth is an obvious symptom of that. So we've gotten some good feedback from people lately saying they tried all the hydration products and I was the only one that, you know, cured their dry mouth. So we try to stick in the fringe medical community because I just think that generally if somebody's not serious about hydration, like in the hydration products that are out now, they're pineapple mango, so and that's not us. So we're on a shelf next to liquid IV and you've been using liquid IV, you might not like this. So that's why we've kind of been sticking with more with people that could think of it as a medication more than, you know, uh, a Kool-Aid drink, like you said earlier.
yeah. So do you know that so you're saying that people who have been using like the more mainstream hydration products,
uh,
theirs doesn't compare to
the
BodyFlow.
results? No, I
Yeah, the
mean,
results are way better with BodyFlow. Can you tell us about that?
yeah, it's very testable too. So I did it um, where I would dehydrate myself and try one of those, do a urinalysis, and then use ours. And it's a world of a difference. The I don't have a problem even with sugar so much. Like,
Yeah.
no offense, I know you're sugar free,
No,
but
no, you don't take offense. I
if,
I'm
if
so grateful some people can eat sugar. It's great.
It
yeah,
is different.
but if you're actively working out, sugar adds value. It gets these minerals into muscle tissue quicker. But
Mhm.
if you're not working out, you don't need the sugar. So that's why we kept it as plain and pure and absorbable as possible. Because you can put it in whatever drink you want. Like honestly, if you put this in Kool-Aid, you would get better results than most of the powdered hydration.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I love that you can do it however you want. Like sometimes if I'm running fast, I'll put it in like a small amount of water and just shoot it. And then other days when I'm taking my big water, I just put it in there. Like it's just so malleable. And the powder would be totally different. Like you'd have to have like the right amount of water to powder. And this is just like I can get this down if I need to in the morning. I know I'm like going fast.
Mhm.
I saw in one of your promotions or something that someone like just shot the thing into their mouth. Do you
That is
guys do
not,
that?
no, no, no,
No,
no.
it's terrible. We had a pro basketball player who, and I didn't even know it would do this. We just wanted him to try it, and he carries it with him. And he said whenever he has an active cramp, he takes it directly from the stick, and it takes about 5 seconds to go away. Which I didn't even know it would do that, but I was like, that's got to be just awful. It's so I tried one, and it is. It's not a good idea.
I know I have been a little too, because like you'll get it like when I twist it off and like put it in my drink, I'll get some on my fingers, and I'm like, whoa, that's super
That's the
strong.
shot right there, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
I'll put it
can,
in soda water and it'll be on the
so,
rim of
yeah,
the can, and then I'll get like the first salty sip, and then
yeah.
it will kind of like mix. Yeah.
It is so good in soda water. Like
Okay. Yeah.
It is.
it is so good. I like it almost it softens the bubbles almost. And anyway, that's a nice experience if anybody's looking for how to drink this easier.
Variety of ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the point that you made that you can put it into a small amount of water. And And that's the difference in just its state, right? So it's being liquid, it's already absorbed. The minerals are ionized. That's their most absorbable form. It starts immediately. You can put it in 2 ounces of water and it's still clear, right? It's completely absorbed. But if you put one of those powder packs in there, it becomes a suspension. You mix it up and it's never part of the water. Where this immediately, the
Mhm.
molecules break and it becomes part of the water. They actually separate, and that's why it's so absorbable and you don't have to mix it. It just goes right in.
It's so
Mhm.
cool. So you guys recommend one a day, but I remember, Megan, that you were saying that to get breast milk, like after birth, it's like two a day is like one of the recommendations, one of your uh
Lactation consultants. Yeah.
yeah, hadn't made.
Yeah. That's what she prescribes to her moms who are trying to get hydrated and trying to get their milk supply back up. Um, one a day in general. We live in Louisiana and it is so hot in the summer. Like if I step outside, I will usually throw BodyFlow in my water.
Yeah.
So just depending on like the day's events,
Mm.
probably one or two, but it was very important because we're just on the go, to be able to. I have like a handful in my car, a handful in my purse, because I never remember to. I don't know. I just want it on me so that I can add it to my water bottle or whatever I'm drinking when I'm on the go. So it was very important for us to package this in individual sticks, for that ease.
I am really grateful you did because I do the same thing. And when we went on our vacation to Oregon, I just threw a bunch in my suitcase and had them when we were out, and I'd buy a water bottle because I wasn't smart enough to fill up my water bottle because I'm like on vacation. So
Mhm.
the sticks are extremely convenient. I'm really grateful you did that.
Yeah, convenience. And they go through TSA. I always have
Right.
time every time I travel, so I can be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, be hydrated." And I don't want to buy a like $8 water.
right.
So I'm cheap. I want to spend my money on coffee.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, buy the good stuff
yes.
and drink your yummy drink.
Yeah.
So what's the future look like for Body Flow? Where like you're in the more medical side you were talking about, Vincent. Where do you hope to be?
I think our product sort of, it is, it's formulated how it's going to be. We've had a lot of people that ask if we're going to put flavor. I just don't want to. I feel like that's not what, who knows? Maybe down the line if we figure out a way to add it. But um, I think what's going to make the biggest difference from us is that Louisiana State University is doing a study right now. It's the first study ever done on breast milk production, but it'll be dual conclusion. It'll be for general hydration and breast milk production. And to get that going, it's a difficult process. But there were a few lactation consultants with PhDs that had to write essays on why they think, based off of the trials that we did independently, why this would make a difference even for how they teach, and what they look for. So
Wow.
I think doing that will make a difference, breaking into this, sort of fringe medical space that we find ourselves.
Hmm.
And that'll just prove, that'll be proof. And then from there, how it expands, we'll
Mhm.
see. But I'd be happy with just those groups because I
Yeah.
know how big of a difference it made for me with where I was and how I was feeling.
Mhm.
And I'm in that like fringe medical group,
Yeah.
medication and with Megan with lactation and
Mhm.
we get a lot of people that have ileostomies and colostomies. They have trouble hydrating. We get a lot of people from that group that use it, and I'm totally fine with staying in those areas. I'd like to have the study though to be able to show like here's some research based data that
Yeah.
we can, so you feel comfortable with the product and there's some proof behind it. And then
Yeah.
from there, the marketing world, what it is,
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
Yeah.
see.
Create
But
some accessibility too, so
yeah.
that people can get this high quality product. Because he really, I was taking it to feed our baby. And so when we were formulating this for us, he really did his research and, found high quality minerals. Like we are very proud of the quality of this product. And that is like our mission, to keep it high quality.
Yeah.
Nice.
It'll stay there. You can buy
Mhm.
much cheaper. So people are like, sodium chloride is, table salt is sodium chloride, but it's really not. There's a
Mm,
big difference in the way that it's produced. And like, normal table salt is washed with aluminum and silicone, so it doesn't clump. We don't have
Mhm.
anything like that. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't matter if it clumps because it's liquid. We um, change the state of it before we produce the product. So
so
yeah,
cool.
we'll keep it how it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. I think you really have hit on something just so important, and along with like my mission of showing people like you don't have to live with sugar, you can live without it and be healthier. Like just the idea of being healthier is so important. Adding this into your life can like there was something about um, I maybe shouldn't say this because I really don't know the actual research on it, but there's a book I've talked to Megan about. I still need to read it. It's called He's Not Sick, He's Thirsty. Just how it someone kind of summarized it for me. They just talked about how so many illnesses can be taken care of when you're actually hydrated, and we need to be having, especially our older people who are in nursing homes drinking enough water because Alzheimer symptoms are so much worse when you are dehydrated, but they forget to drink water because they have Alzheimer's. So anyway, there's so many places that this can go, and I'm so happy that you've decided to just do it with integrity, have these high quality ingredients as well as keeping the crappy stuff out. I love the actual minerals that I can just throw in and not feel like, oh, there's natural flavors. I don't even know where these natural flavors come from.
I don't know what that is.
There's sugar. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just I'm really proud to be able to be working with you. And I hope that all of our people participating in the Jumpstart will see the value in it. And if they don't have it, contact us. And then if they've got it, enjoy it, tell us how you like it. And if you post on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok about your experience with the body flow hydration, please tag body flow hydration and my handle Bailey Rose with 3 E's. And we'd love to hear how it's going. And you're going to be entered into a prize that you may be able to get. So anyway, thank you so much, Vincent and Megan. This has been a great discussion. I can't wait to hear the feedback from our audience.
All
Awesome. Thank
right.
you for having
Thank
us.
you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Reach out anytime with questions to anybody in your audience. We
Awesome.
answer emails,
Yeah, this is the
We're
team.
smart. It'll be one of us getting your
Yeah.
email.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, this isn't like these guys are the people you're talking to.
Don't judge my spelling.
What was that?
Don't judge my spelling
Oh,
and punctuation.
yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious. All right. Well, good night and we'll talk again soon.